When I was at Sam Houston State for my intern year, I got to know a lot of different small group leaders and get to hear a lot of really stories of theirs. Right, the stories we tell are powerful, and they would tell stories about different small group leaders and sometimes the funny things that they would do with their small groups. And I remember hearing about this small group leader who threw a bunch of his guys in a dumpster and jumped in with them, and they talked about the stench of sin in their life. And I remember thinking, that is the coolest thing, because if I were honest, so often I feel like my meeting was, when I was small group leading, sometimes was the most boring part of my whole ministry. It was in that, sometimes that weekly meeting space that I even felt like, man, I need something more than them just kind of sitting around, kind of somewhat listening to me as I'm learning how to communicate. And I could have done a better job probably communicating conversation or stirring conversation more, but still I realized, man, that is such a cool thing. Like, how could I do more creative things like that just to get the guys engaged? And so we began to do some things where, some of them maybe were hit, some of them maybe not, but go to the cemetery in town and would talk about dying to self. And we came up to CSU, me and the original team, we pioneered, and we would talk about this and doing different creative things to kind of stir our guys or gals in our small group to pay attention. If nothing else, making it memorable helps you remember those things. And sometimes it doesn't even have to be directly connected to what you're talking about, but just connecting it to memories. And so, as love and laughter and life on life and memory making is always such a core part of small group ministry, realizing like, hey, let's be intentional to make what we do in imparting the kingdom of God not the most boring part of being part of a small group community. I remember one guy that here at CSU would one time, real creative guy, I wouldn't suggest this, but just comically had his guys in a closet, had the lights off, and then talked about how Satan kind of sneaks up on you, and they turned on the lights, and there was a boa constrictor that he had as a pet that was out of its cage, kind of up in the shoe rack, up above his clothes, looking down at the guys. I mean, it's just, the guys kind of freaked out. But we've done a number of things creatively over the years, just trying different things to be like, hey, how can you make, whether it's one-on-one, I love just taking guys fishing when I do a one-on-one conversation, because we have the time there and back, and we can talk about the Lord and how they're doing in life and pastoral care or just impartation of one form or another. But then we have fun and spend some time enjoying God's creation. Whatever you do, remember, make it memorable. Like, let's not let God and the wonder of what we have to share about Him and the truth that we have to communicate to our guys and gals be the boring part of being part of this group. Let's make it exciting. Let's make it fun. Be creative. There's a lot of room to think creatively about this. But the point is, think through it and think creatively about how you can communicate the gospel in a memorable way, so that it impacts our guys and gals with the power of the gospel in their hearts.